Well, thank you so much for staying glued to our QTV breakfast show. And in the studio this morning, I'm joined by Rabson Banda, who is the founder of Elevated Initiatives, and also he is a business trainer. I think we did host him on this particular breakfast show that was sometime last year or a year ago.
Yeah, yeah, go.
Yeah, and we were just talking about issues to do with youths, and also just talking about his organization, which is Elevated Initiatives, and also him being a business trainer. But welcome to our breakfast show.
Thank you very much, Harold. I'm very much grateful.
Definitely. All right. So, just a reminder to people that are seeing you for the very first time, or maybe haven't heard from you in a while. What is Elevated Initiatives? What is this initiative about?
Yeah, thank you very much. Elevated Initiative is a social enterprise that promotes productivity by training the young people, one, on how to generate a business idea, and also how to write a bankable, feasible business plan as well. And later on, of course, how they can actually improve their businesses, but also mainstreaming mental health as one aspect that can actually enhance their productivity toward what they've actually planned.
Yeah. So is this like a huge problem that we're facing as young people in terms of coming up with business ideas or initiatives?
Yeah, yes, it is actually a strong issue that is actually a challenge for the young people. I'm sure you're aware that, of course, right now there are some activities that are happening, some youth empowerment programs that are actually happening with Citizen Economic Empowerment Commission. But of course, one thing that we've actually come to realize and discover is that many young people are unable to actually, fill up the form to understand the other aspect that they need to consider whenever they are submitting this form, just because there is lack of business management skills, and which for us, we believe that that's the avenue we can contribute to the economic transformation of Zambia as a country.
Absolutely. And how is that going so far for you as the founder?
Basically, the numbers are so overwhelming. Yes, but of course, in as much as the number is so overwhelming, because our initiative is 60% is profit making, then 20% and 40% is non-profit making. So you find that, of course, when it comes to them, when they come to consult, they come to consult, you find that a few are able to actually foot for the consultant's fee. Sure.
Interesting. All right. So today we're looking at mental health as a key driver to just economic change and things like that. But first of all, what exactly are we talking about when we talk about issues to do with mental health? What are some of the important aspects that people need to know about mental health?
Yeah, basically, mental health, in my own definition, is really the capacity for an individual to analyze, and to participate and to contribute to the society in which he serves, starting from the personal level, of course. Sure.
Okay. And why do you think mental health and just the state of well-being is very cardinal?
Where I come from, there is a saying that a man is what he thinks about most of the time. You see, so in everything that we do, it all starts from what has been going around in your intellect. What are you thinking about? Because what you think about is what you mostly act upon. So if your mental capacity, your mental ability is in question, so even the activities that you'll be able to get involved, there will be something that will not be able to contribute to the effectiveness or the productivity of you as a person. Yeah, so you find that mental health becomes very outstanding and prominent in the things that we do on a daily basis. Sure.
Okay, and why is mental health, a key driver to economic transformation?
Yeah, if you look at economic transformation, we are looking at the human development, human capital development, of which it's a human being who have to make sure that they're able to contribute. For instance, right now Zambia subscribed to different agreements, you see, and one of it which I can actually highlight is the African Continental Free Trade Area, and of course it's really an opportunity. It's really a big game for all African continents, but for it to be exploited, we need the people. Now imagine the people are unable to work effectively. You see, right now we're talking about 20 billion of working hours lost every year as a result of anxiety and depression. We are talking about 1 trillion US dollar, which is a productive cost lost as a result of depression and anxiety. So you find that how will people work effectively if they are depressed, if there is anxiety, which is a visitor in their lives, meaning they won't be able to actually work effectively, and productivity in that way, it will be in question. So you find that mental health becomes very, very majesty, I can say very excellence in making sure that, of course, we're able to achieve both social and economic development towards Vision 2030. Yes.
So, do you think that the current government is doing enough in regards to this issue? And also, maybe you can highlight how society takes issues of mental health, because you already spoke about how someone cannot be productive if they're having issues of depression and anxiety. This is not an issue that you can, go to your workplace and tell them, I've got depression and anxiety, so I'm unable to work. How are we taking up that? Let's start with, just society and its view on mental health before we get to the government.
Yeah, basically, mental health in most countries, not just Zambia, you see, even just in our community, it has been, one, de-resourced, and it is not, and it's also deprioritized in the programming. And most importantly, mental health has been, there is so much misunderstanding about mental health, and in such view, we find that it has been stigmatized. You see, so you find that the perception that the community have towards mental health is something that is really in question. You see, even even in Zambia, to be specific, there are issues that you hear talking to people, even if they are depressed, they don't want to go to Chinama because they will be stigmatized by the friends, sometimes even from our own households, that these things are happening. So how do we now destigmatize the issue of mental health? So it comes now a process and a question to us to say, how do we stigmatize the issue relating to mental health? So that's where it also starts from. And once people are able to are able to have the ideal perception toward mental health, even the way we approach this issue with regard to the services that are being provided, it will become outstanding.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
But okay, so do you think the government is doing enough in regards to mental health?
This is something that I was really waiting for when the new government came in place. I was actually waiting. What are they going to bring about? But of course, in August, which is my birth month, you remember very well that of course the 80th National Development Plan was actually launched. You see, and in the 80th National Development Plan, if you go to page 53, it talks about how they are going to strengthen public health, of which they've put up programs. One of them is actually mental health and substance abuse management. You see, so for me, it actually speaks to say that, of course, the current government is actually prioritizing the aspect of mental health and also substance abuse management. So when those programs are in the 80th National Development Plan, which is here, which of course the president has called on each and every person to partner and also to correct them where they're not doing well, because this document is not for the current government; it's a document for any Zambian. Yeah. So the implementation becomes on one. How do we own this? The program that are in there, how do we participate to make sure that the program that are in there actually come to prioritization? And that's why Elevated Initiative is there to support and also to help and to monitor how these programs are being prioritized in all our programming.
Okay, so all in all, do you think that we have enough support when it comes to mental health issues? Maybe let's say enough rehabilitation centers, because when you talk about mental health, I think the one thing that people associate it with is alcohol and drug abuse. Do you think we have enough rehabilitation center or enough community support for us to be able to look at mental health as an important aspect where people even get help?
Right now, to be honest with you, the infrastructure that are there are not able to meet up the population.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and knowing that, of course, Zambia is a youth-driven country.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll just give you an example. Right now, as I'm talking, if you're talking about Luapula province, you find that there is a high rate of young people who are abusing drugs and alcohol. You see, but so the question is, are there services that are able to actually mitigate those issues? We find that they are not. There is not enough infrastructure, even resources. You see, I was just talking to we had just having a dialogue with the International Monetary Fund managing director. You see, and even them, they are also prioritizing mental health because it has been one thing that has been deprioritized in all programmings. So it is a sign that, of course, even as COVID has contributed to that, so it's a sign, it's a wake-up call that, of course, even the government of today, they are seeing how they're able to fund program projects. Even you as an individual, how are you helping? How are you fitting, making sure that the numbers of people with mental health conditions is actually able to come to a zero? So it's an all effort oriented approach that we should take, a mount sector approach towards making sure that, of course, there is enough infrastructure with regards to mental health. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So last year we had a very high rate of suicide cases, especially amongst the young people. What would you say could be some of the leading causes of mental health illnesses?
Basically, I most interact with the young people.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that I get to hear is the issue of confidentiality. You
Yeah.
see, so if Rhoda, I come to you, I share something with you.
Mm-hmm.
Am I 100% sure that I'm not going to hear it from Janet or Sophia or even Maggie? You see, so you find that there is trust issues such that even when I have a problem, I'm not able to open up to you because you are going to tell someone. You see what I mean? So once we create that environment where people are able to open up with these types of issues, you see, nowadays we've got psychosocial counselors strategically positioned into these clinics. You see, so it's very important that, of course, these services are actually accessed. Even when it comes to universities, there are people who are actually professionals who are trained to handle this type of issues. So it's very important that, of course, there is that awareness of where do I go to make sure that I'm able to find this solution, this problem that I'm having, how I'm going to go about addressing it. There are already professionals who are in there. Even for students, we will give an example of the University of Zambia. They've got an actual mental health clinic designated for dedicated for just those people who are having mental health challenges, conditions. So everyone is free to go there, and you are sure that, of course, because these are professionals, they understand the principle of confidentiality. So once you go there, the door are always open. You make up an appointment, and of course, you find that there is a solution. So once there is that awareness of where they can go to, whatever they are depressed, whatever they have got problems, is also an issue that we need to raise up. And at the end of the day, the levels of suicide cases will come to.
Absolutely, I do agree. But I still go back to my question. Some of the causes of mental health issues, let's say anxiety, depression. Why would somebody get into depression? Is it because of economic issues, especially amongst the young people? You find, people posting all sorts of disturbing messages on social media, wanting to commit suicide, maybe because of relationships. From the interactions that you've had with young people, what are some of our problems that, we can't even solve, that we have to resort to suicide?
Yeah, one of the things, of course, you know that Zambia is a youth-driven country, and we can't run away from the fact that there has been the number of unemployment among the youths. It's so high, higher than even at a national level. You see, combined, but just the youth unemployment is so high. It's standing about 17.2%. You see, so even that aspect has contributed to a number of suicide. Well, because this person doesn't have a source of income.
Yeah.
There are no income generating activities that are there that can calm, the challenges that they are facing on a daily basis. And that's the reason why we believe that, of course, helping people to actually develop job, job opportunities, or even just business management skills, so that they can start up their income generating activities, will actually at least reduce the number of suicide that we're actually experiencing, not just at Zambia, but of course at a global level. Sure.
Okay. As a proud Zambian citizen, what are you doing about this issue to do with mental health?
Oh, thank you very much for that. I remember last time I came here was when we were talking about the campaign that we launched in Kadingalinga, and then we called the campaign "My Kadingalinga Addiction Free Kadingalinga." Of course, that campaign was around how do we create awareness on the importance of mental health, and which institutions are there for people to access at least these services with regard to their mental wellness. So as Elevated Initiative, that's one thing we are doing. And of course, we always making sure that we bring on the table to each and every companies, even at the company level, even at the community level. When I come here, I'm able to ask you, as a company, do you have a mental health work policy in making sure that, of course, in as much as you are busy collecting data in the field, collecting news, when you come here, after that, you are tired. So what skills do you have to making sure that you're able, one, to replenish, to repair, and also, to just replace some of the energies that you've lost? So those are the skills that we believe that most of this institution should put in their program, so that of course the people who are working in those environments, they know to say, okay, that's an environment which I can proudly say I'm going for it. Because most of the time you spend most of your days at workplace, so now is the environment conducive for you to making sure that we're able to work effectively. So we are also having this conversation with critical leaders to see how they can prioritize the aspect of mental health. And the Elevated Initiative is one of that initiative that is there to promote mental health through what we call community recovery through entrepreneurship. Thank you very much.
All right. Before we go, what plans do you have as Elevated Initiatives, especially that this is just the beginning of the year?
Right now, as I'm talking, we are running a training seminar on how to help the young people to write completed bankable business plan. That's one of them. And as much as we are doing that, we've mainstreamed the aspect to give them skills on how they can actually, combat this issue of mental health, how they can stay away from drug and alcohol abuse. You see, how they can be strong, even if five friends of them come to you, say, no, Johnny, let's go on Friday to actually have a bottle of alcohol. They'll be able to say no. Why? Because they know to say they've got the skills, they've got something to do, they've got a book to read, they've got an activity to actually finish. So we are actually, one of the things we're doing is actually helping the young people to develop business management skills. Yeah, sure.
All right. Thank you very much, Robson, for coming through to our breakfast show this morning. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you very much. I'm so much grateful. I don't take this opportunity so lightly.
All right, so we do continue with our QTV Breakfast Show. Be sure to send in your text messages, and don't forget that we're streaming live on Facebook. That is QTV Zambia. We'll be back shortly.
Hey guys, you can have all the fun, learning, singing, and also story time. Have the best of kids and teens activities. Catch Q Club every Monday at 16:30, only on QTV.
We all are looking for products to protect ourselves from viruses, but not all products protect us. Did you know that using Dettol soap and water protects against viruses? Many viruses are surrounded by an envelope with receptors that enable them to enter a human cell and cause infection. Dettol soap destroys the outer layer of the virus and effectively removes it. Protect your family from the spread of viruses with Dettol. Dettol cleans and is now tested and proven to be effective against COVID-19 virus. This has been Medifax for Dettol.
You're still watching QTV Breakfast, and of course, today I'm joined by, some of the members of a sport that is becoming a favorite sport. Actually, I've loved it for the last I think 5 years. I've been following it so closely, and I've just learned to love it. We are talking about bodybuilding, and guess who is joining us today on the Breakfast Show? We are talking about none other than Mr. Zambia 2022. 2023, and of course he is actually none other than Nelson Chabota. Thank you so much. Good to see you, my man. Don't squeeze my hand.
Good to see you too.
I'm so glad to finally meet you, my guy. How have you been?
I've been okay to be here.
It's good to have you, man.
Thank you so much.
Man, you big, man. I'm big.
I'm
now I understand why you won Mr. Zambia. Now I understand.
Cool.
Yeah, I was one of the people who also doubted when we shared pictures where you were you, Sylvester, and the other guy. I think he came out third, Luciano. Yeah. Exactly, and I was like, but this Mr. Zambia of ours, is he really Mr. Zambia? No. But now looking at you like this, now I understand. How have you been, my man?
I've been okay. How are things moving?
No, things are okay. How does it feel, finally to be Mr. Zambia? We are now having a different Mr. Zambia. How does it feel? How are you feeling?
Great.
Yeah,
it feels nice. It's a very good privilege to be a Mr. Zambia. Yeah, it feels nice.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it feels nice. That's what I can say. Yeah.
And the other member is actually his trainer. Yeah, he also does a bit of training here and there. But he is actually the one who tells this guy what to do, what to eat, how to train. He's like just there. Mr. John is also joining us on the show today. Thank you so much. Good to see you, boss.
It's a pleasure, man.
Now I'm wondering, a trainer, growing up I used to think a trainer should be bigger than, the one who's being trained.
It gets big also.
Yeah, that's what I used to think. A trainer should be bigger than the one who's being trained.
I've been doing on and off, so I haven't really been in the gym like that. That's why. But I really do put on some size, but not.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'm more on the bigger side.
You're more on the bigger side.
Not on the definition and cuts and all that. Yeah.
What's the difference? You just use now that catchy word there. I'm more on a bigger side, not on a definition side. What's the difference there? So you're bigger. He's defined. Yeah, that's what you're saying.
Yeah. So what happens is there are guys who just get bulky.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? Like you just get you're in shape, but you're just bigger, the bulky way.
Okay.
So the size, and he's for the stage. So in the off season, like now, this type of period, it does get big, but it doesn't lose his definition.
Uh-huh.
With us, people who just lived for size, we just get big. With them, they are specific. There's a way they're supposed to look and the way they're supposed to eat so that they don't lose that muscle definition.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, before I can now get to find out more about, his winning Mr. Zambia and all that, let me take you to wrestling. Big Show.
Yeah.
He's just bulky.
Yeah, Big Show is just tall, actually. He's just fat.
But Big Show, no,
but Big Show is just fat.
He can hit you with a knockout punch.
Big Show is tall and fat.
Okay.
You see what I mean? That's Big Show.
Okay.
Wrestling.
Undertaker
is just
the only wrestler who's tall and in terms of huge with weights is Braun Strowman.
Okay.
That one we can say. We can say. And Great Khali, though his symmetry is not okay.
There were people like Bobby Lashley.
Yeah.
Those ones, yes, they had good.
Yeah, and after you mentioned Bobby Lashley, that's what I understand to say. His body size looks pretty much like Bobby,
Lashley,
Yeah, because I think currently when you look at most of the wrestlers that we have, I think Bobby Lashley has really done amazing on his body size.
Yeah.
Exactly. When you get Bobby, you get Brock Lesnar, you put them here. That's when you understand to say Brock was just
just shaped in size.
But when you look at his body and body it doesn't add up really. 2021 he came out second from Sylvester. Just for you to get him ready to 2022 competition, which he ended up winning, what kind of training routine did you put up for him?
So for me, what I usually do is I look at, it's a sport.
Mhm.
You look at Mwila. Mwila is big.
Mhm.
He's a giant. He's tall. He's got mass. He is short. He needs to come out different. What you look at what they look for in bodybuilding. A lot of people approach the sport the way people look at Mwila.
Mhm.
You see, Mwila is big, and everybody want to be big and come in the sport big and say okay, but you can't beat him. You can't beat him. That's his throne. That's where he's comfortable at. You see what I mean? So you come in different. So with me, I looked at Mwila. I looked at him and said, look, if we go big, we go what everybody wants. We won't beat this guy. You can get defined. Your muscle is hard. We can toughen your muscle and give you everything while you look small. If everything shows, you beat this guy. And I wasn't scared of Miller because I've been looking and I've been noticing his weaknesses. So we worked on the weaknesses that Miller had and gave them to him. You see? Mm-hmm. So he brought it on stage and we won. You see what I mean? Okay. So that was a strategy that I used on him.
Okay. So I don't know, for how long have you been doing, this trainer, a profession, this advisory profession, and for you to get to that level where you can advise somebody to the level where he goes on to win a huge mega competition like Mr. Zambia, for how long have you been doing this?
I haven't been doing it for a long time. Maybe I can say six. I've been okay. I wasn't so much into the gym, but I've always been amazed with the way the human body works. So I would try to find out, read and study, try to get into those things. So probably 5 years or 6 years ago, that's when I got active. Now I said, okay, let me just start doing these things, because there were people who would laugh at you and say, you get this guy, tell them this, they tell you what you're saying is can't work, because people believe you need to eat a lot of carbs, you need to eat this and that. So a lot of people eat a lot of shimas and potatoes and what, and they feel, if I eat like this, I'm gonna get big. But it doesn't work like that. So now I started reading, studying, and understanding. Maybe, like I said, 7 years ago. Then I would advise people on how to eat. People want to lose weight, and it would work. You see, because I would read and I would look at the body. The bodies that we've got different types of bodies. Every human being has got their type of body. Your type of body might have his type. So when you look at them, you know what you're gonna give them, what you need to feed them, what they're supposed to stay away from. So after, like I said, I started reading. I was amazed by the human body and how it works. So when I met him, he was number 10, Mr. Kawata. I think he had lost, so he came out number 10. Mm-hmm. Then he came out number 7. Somebody told him to come and see me because we were training in the same gym, but we were not.
So you also
together.
took part in the competition?
No, I don't participate.
Okay.
Yeah. We were just training in the same gym, Kawata gym. He was brought in, then he lost. He came out number 10, I think, and number 7, Ironman. Somebody told him to come and see me. Say, talk to that guy, he might help you. So when I looked at him, I said, okay, this is what you're gonna do. And we had to change his diet, his lifestyle. Okay, he's a very disciplined guy, and he listens when you tell him. A lot of bodybuilders, when you talk to them, they argue because there's, like I said, there's this mentality of people saying they need to eat in a certain way, behave in a certain way. So when you tell him, like him, you tell him, okay, this is what we're gonna do. I want you to do this and live like this, and from now on you'll be doing this and this and this. He listens, and his body changed, and he won. From 10, he came number 1. He became number 1. From 10, he went straight to number 1, winning Mr. Kawata for the first time. Then we got Ironman. Then we came back and won Mr. Kawata for the second time. And we started eyeing for this Mr. Zambia. I actually told him we're gonna win Mr. Zambia because I'm not scared of Mwila. That's how we came back, and now we got Mr. Zambia. See how it was. He's my the biggest person that I've given advice to, and he has won. But with most of the people, I was just giving free advice. Like, you come to me, oh, I want to do this and that, then I'll tell you, oh, we're gonna work like this, do this and that. Then people would actually say that if it's bodybuilding, they'll change. If it's losing weight, they'll lose their weight, and they'll say, oh, thank you, like that. Then I said, okay, let me just try it now, training in person. Give proper advice and see where we go from there. Okay. I'm not saying I knew him when he didn't know anything. No, he actually was lifting and he was looking okay, but the placings on competitions were not there. So, like I said, I like to read a lot, and I was reading, and I was okay, this is what we're gonna do for you to win these competitions.
Interesting. Yeah. So now, when it's time for the competition and judges are looking at who can win and so on and so on. For instance, let me get him as an example because he's the immediate person that I'm able to practically look at exactly, and of course be able to track his record from 2018 up until date. You found that in 2021 he came out number 2, but still he looked very big. For me, when I looked at the pictures, he looked very big, and I questioned as to why has he lost? Why has Nelson lost this competition? Because I think for me, I think he's really there, but he lost in the eyes of the judges.
Yeah, he lost.
What is it that you guys look for in a competitor like him for you to declare him as a winner?
All right. So with bodybuilding, I think so. There's mass, like the muscle mass. There's the definition, which goes with the symmetry. And aesthetic.
And please, I think explain those terms very well.
So
when you talk about mass, I think people understand. But when you talk about symmetry and so on and so forth, what is that?
So the body has to balance.
Okay.
So shoulders, neck, chest, your waist, your thighs, your calves, they need to be in line. You're not supposed to have a bigger upper. Say you have got a bigger upper body and a small legs. You don't balance. Chicken legs, no. You can be defined, but if your legs are small or your upper body is small, then your legs are big, you still won't win. That is symmetry now. You see, like those people, like the City Health, Mr. Sean, the way he likes to say, those people who sculpture things, you know how they have to make them look straight on point. So that's what they look for in bodybuilding. That is symmetry. Then the definition is how the muscle comes out. Every part has to show. So if you show chest, you have to have your obliques, everything. Even when you have your leg here, when your quads, your teardrops, everything has to show. See what I mean? They look at that, and there's also like the mass, which I've said. So now, when we came to the competition, I think the 2021 one, the one he came out second, they said his traps were small. Which was, we kind of, because we trained for it, we kind of argued because it was a bit, I wasn't so satisfied with the answer they gave. I said, no, the traps were small. Because they don't only judge using one body part. You see what I mean? If for example, if you look at Miller, his weaknesses is behind. He's the hamstring.
Yeah, I noticed.
The calves, the glutes.
Much of I also noticed that you'd find that I think much of the leg size wasn't really
showing. It's not there
exactly. I noticed that his legs were bigger. Maybe for the lack of a better term, just for the layman's language, his legs were bigger.
They were bigger
than
Mueller's.
Exactly. Mueller is quite too big this side. Wow. That guy is like a gorilla.
He's a giant.
He's a giant. He's just too big this side. And that height, it's very easy for us to see everything. Exactly. But when you look at the legs, I noticed they were a bit, It's like, I had stopped training. Then he started training.
He trains. Even now he's training. He's coming back. He trains. He was training. Those are the things we're looking at. So I don't know. We never understood, but we don't argue. Like he said, he said when we go back, we say, okay, we don't cry. We don't cry over sport milk. We just say, okay, why did we not work on hard? They say the traps, okay, let's come back differently this time. Let's go back. Let's be in our own lane. Like I said, let's not go for size. Let's just go the way you are now. You are short. Your body's like this. Let's just cut it up, sculpt it up. We make it look neat and nice. Then now we see where they're gonna tell us we haven't worked on. You see, and we came back 2022. Well, for me, he didn't bring his best, and he lost to Chabota. It was controversial because a lot of people don't understand. They think being big, huge, a giant, and tall, and and having a bigger chest and traps, you win. You see, but like I said, there are other things that you look at as a competition, and he brought it all. That's why he's a champion, and he won.
Okay, interesting. In 2021, when you lost to Mueller, how did you feel, first of all? Especially that, people now were talking, starting from social media, people were questioning how Mueller won, and so on and so forth. Did you feel that victory was robbed from you?
Things that go on social media, I don't pay too much attention because you may end up being disturbed and you lose your focus. Okay. So I didn't pay attention to all the stuff that people were telling me to say, no, you won, but I think I didn't take that at heart. I just went to work on what the judges told me to say. Go and work on this body part. So, like he said, we went to work on the body part that they said I should work on. Then we came in now to see where they're going to say that here's the problem. Yeah. So like in 2021 when I came out second, I was happy because that was the second Mr. Zambia that I did. Yeah, I participated in. The first one, I came out in the prejudging. I didn't qualify. Then the second one, I came out second. Then this one, the one I won, it was my third. It was my third time to step on the national level for Mr. Zambia.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So for you, definitely, you are just focused on, let's see what the future holds.
Exactly.
When he's preparing, one thing that I noticed is from all the competitions that he has won, it seems like after he loses, there's always a very short span of time for him to train. For instance, 2021, that was December, he loses to Sylvester, and he gets back to the gym. 2022 December, he has exactly 12 months just for him to train and put. Is that really, enough time for somebody to prepare to the level of beating the champion? Now I'm asking the trainer because he's the one who trains.
Yeah.
In a year?
A year beating the champion. Is that possible?
A year is possible. With the way it's looking now, it's possible. That's why off season you have to bulk, then you just start cutting the next month when you're going for the competition.
Okay.
It's tough the way it was last year before we won Mr. Zambia, because we had a lot of competitions. You need to get in a lot of competitions for you to make a name. So we had Ironman, we had Arnold, Mr. Kawata. Then there was only a week in between to go to Mr. Zambia. And Mr. Kawata, when he made the prep, it was cancelled. Then they changed the date. After now, we were ready now for the show. So it's a bit tricky, it's tough. Last year was the hardest, but when you have a year in between, I think it's easy when you already have a body like that. But when you're starting, if a beginner, I don't think you would make a body for Mr. Zambia to qualify for Mr. Zambia in a year. It wouldn't happen. It takes time. It takes time for somebody who wants to be Mr. Zambia or wants to go on stage. I think they don't need to rush. They need to understand how things work and take their time and prepare and be with somebody who understands how these things work. It's like that, yes. For him, a year is going to be good because there'll be enough time for him to bulk, enough time to cut and rest.
Him winning, Mr. Zambia, we have had 11 Mr. Zambia competition consecutively being won by one guy who's really done his homework very well each year that comes in. Us changing Mr. Zambia in 2022, what does that mean for the bodybuilding family?
It has brought a lot of hope to a lot of people. A lot of competitors now are happy, and because when they look at him, they say, okay, now we've got a chance. You see, we can challenge someone. You can't hold a title for 11 years. You know what I mean? It's even just you personally, you have to think, it's okay, I've done it for long. Let me give chance to other people. You can be a trainer. You can be, you just become inspirational to other people and say, resign, you stop. You even honor you. Than losing. They've been having that. When you resign as Mr. Zambia, you have what can I say? There's that dignity. But when you lose, the record will be he was beaten. You see what I mean? But now a lot of people now are inspired and they've got that hope saying, now I'm gonna win. Also me, I can win. Also me, I can win. Because it was looking like it was rigged somehow. Just one person over and over and it becomes boring. And people start pulling out. But now there's hope. A lot of people are inspired and a lot of people think they can come on now and challenge him because they look at his height, the way it looks now, and say, we're going to win this guy. You see, so I'm thinking this year there will be a lot of competition, lots of competition, because people will come in and say, now we can challenge him. I think now things have changed with bodybuilding. Now we can win. I think now it's going to be a real competition. Yeah.
Interesting. From a professional point of view, and if you were to offer just that professional advice as an individual, away from being connected to Nelson, away from being connected to everybody, would you be for the idea that Mwila should compete this year?
For me, like I said, I don't think if I was him, I wouldn't compete. Yeah, he wants to come back. I think he wants to come back to show that he can still do it. But for me, I don't think he needs to come back. He's proven enough times. 11 times is a long time. We know he's Mwila. He's been Mr. Zambia. You need to, as the problem with a lot of athletes is they want to hold on to the fame. Sometimes we need to inspire other people, train. We can become trainers. We can build other people. You see, let the sport grow. Instead of us just being on the top, why can't he get somebody else, build him up, and put him on the stage? And so, oh, that guy was he was made by Mwila. You see what I mean? That's what we need, and that's how the sport will grow, than just having one person winning. Even him, he knows, I've told him a lot of times that you hold on the space, but after some time, look at greater heights. Mr. Zambia is there, yes, but when you go somewhere else, train someone else who's going to take over, so that there's that legacy you leave behind. You know, a lot of people don't want to leave a name behind, like to be great. You know what I mean? To be great is not owning the stage. Is the people that you bring onto the stage and the name that you leave. Those people will keep their names in their mouth. Even their children will keep that name in their mouth. Say, the guy helped me and he made me who I am today. You see what I mean? Sometimes we need to look at that. Not always us, we have to be at the top and be on the stage. No, the light goes out. You won't be in the spotlight forever. So for me, I think resigning for me would be okay for him. If I was his advisor, I'll tell him, my guy, quit. Imagine if he loses again this time and maybe he places third. It would be worse. You see?
Interesting. So how are you helping, Nelson prepare for the international competitions that he will be, qualifying to take part this year?
It's the same. Training, diets, lifestyle, and discipline. So we need to think.
When you talk about discipline, can you explain exactly what level of discipline, what are the do's and don'ts that you expect him to obey?
With bodybuilding, you have to be disciplined. Food, what you eat, because you tend to eat the same things over and over. If it's rice and chicken, boiled rice, white rice, boiled chicken breast every day. Maybe you're gonna have fish once boiled.
It's not good enough.
Yeah, but I'm saying you have to be disciplined, because when you do it for 3-4 months, it becomes boring. Eating the same thing. Then also now lifestyle, going out, parties, drinking, girls. You need to stay away from that, because the body has to rest. You don't need to stress the body. That's the discipline I'm talking about there. So there's the eating. You have to be disciplined. When we say this is what you eat, this is the diet that you be on, you don't touch anything else. Then the lifestyle, like I said, going out, drinking, parties and all that, doesn't work with bodybuilding. It's totally different. If you want to live that life, you can't manage, you can't win. So there's that. You have to be disciplined in that area as well. Then the training, you need to know, time management and all that, the way he trains. Everything it's just repeated stuff every day, the same things. So those people are not disciplined, are not into it, they quit. You tell them you're gonna eat chicken for 3 months, the chicken breast only, boiled, no cooking oil, nothing. So 1 week they're tired. You tell them I'm gonna remove all the carbs from your diet. You just eat this. 3 days is feeling, you know how you feel when you don't eat sugar. It quits. But if you're disciplined, you manage. That's the discipline that I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's tough.
Nelson, how do you take that strictness from your coach, really?
Yeah,
you're just confined. You can't decide on your own. How do you take it?
Yeah, I agree to what he says, because I know what I want. Yeah, and I know where bodybuilding is taking me to. So I just have to listen to him. I just have to listen to whatever he tells me, because with him not being there, I wouldn't have been the Nelson that people now are saying, no, Nelson. So whatever he tells me works. If he says, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, I don't. And I personally, I'm someone who's disciplined, because I don't take alcohol, I don't smoke. So partying, it's not in let me say it's not like I'm in that lifestyle. Yeah, especially when I'm prepping for a competition, like now, I try my level best to stay disciplined. If after gym I'll just go home, eat, maybe watch a movie, like that. That's all. Waiting for another day to train again. After the competitions, that's now when we can say, no, okay, let's go and have some fun, because we've already done the mission was we've accomplished the mission.
And the fun that he's talking about now is just eating other foods.
Not the fun of not going in the club dancing. No.
So now you can buy pizza, T-bone, shima, all these things. They can come in now. Yeah, you can eat changanya because now you're relaxed. It's off season.
Yeah, that's the way it is.
Life of a bodybuilder is quite a very restrictive life. You really, really need to be disciplined. If you are a bodybuilder or you wish to be a bodybuilder, definitely you need to learn from the best. You can only become the best if you beat the best. And Nelson has achieved that now in Zambia. He's beaten the best. He's managed to take off Sylvester from that long strip that he has been, on, winning Mr. Zambia for 11th time. Now it's his turn to also see what he can do. Coach, are you seeing us getting into the same level of working that we've been under Sylvester with Nelson? Nelson winning the competition consecutively, for instance, 10th times, 5 times in a row or something?
It's possible, but I don't want that for him. It's possible for him to win. We look at the competitors that are there. I think we can challenge them. Yes, we can win, but I'm not looking at that. Me, I'm looking at growing. We can't stay on the same level for 10 years. Like I said, he can't be Mr. Zambia for 10, 12 years. No. Me, I'm looking at, if you win Mr. Zambia twice, then there's no one to challenge you in Zambia. Why don't you look at other avenues? Go to South Africa, win the Arnold Classic, get a card. Go to Ghana, Egypt, win. Go to, there's always a step ahead. You can't be on one level. It's always climbing a step. Like he started Ironman, Mr. Kawata, Mr. Zambia. Now we're looking at Arnold Classic. We're looking at probably joining the other what do you call? Okay, sorry. Probably going somewhere else. You see what I mean? We're looking at the Olympia. There are categories there. There are a lot of other international competitions that are going on. So for me, I don't think we'll stay on Mr. Zambia for a long time. I want to go international. I want to go higher, to the highest level that we can go.
The truth of the matter is that I'm impressed with the fact that his first international competition, that is the Arnold Classics, he came out 3rd, and I'm thinking, wow, somebody who comes out 3rd, that is a huge boost. Looking at the kind of competition, obviously, that he faced from guys in South Africa, Nigeria, Ghana. Nigeria, Ghana are known to be very good, countries producing very good weightlifters. They produce huge guys there. South Africa has got some of the most developed gyms here in Africa, and now him coming out 3rd from a country that is still struggling to give an image to the bodybuilding industry here in Zambia. I don't know what you think of his future.
He actually placed better at the Arnold Classic. There were just some points which were drops because they were, he was new, and there were other things that went on, but he had placed better. That's why I've got hope. That's why he's saying this time he's gonna win. He knows now what happens there. We actually had better points. They were amazed with his body there. Yeah. So in Zambia, South Africa has got everything, which us we're restricted. Gyms, sponsorship, food, it's hard, and bodybuilding is expensive. See what I mean? But we've managed. We came out 3rd at the Arnold Classic. This year we're gonna take it. We'll come out with a medal. And that year we are going to get a pro card. We won't even compete in Zambia anymore. We'll be outside because Zambia will be too little for us. We'll be outside. We'll just be maybe mentoring and coaching and helping and doing these charity works to show that even bodybuilders are thinkers. Bodybuilders are not just bouncers and people who fight in the streets. We're actually normal people who actually lead a normal life, and we can actually be intellectuals as well, so that we just enjoy pumping weights. See.
One of the challenges that I've noticed here in Zambia in terms of bodybuilding is actually support. I don't know just how much support comes from. We have got a different government now, so maybe it will be very different now, especially that we've got a government where they want to treat all sport as equal sport, not only financing football, but they want to make sure that they finance every sport. But previous to that, how was the support really from, let's say, government, stakeholders, the corporate world? How was support?
The support for the main events Yeah, you can find. Like last year, the Same Arnold Classic was funded by the government for them to go. It was sponsored and other sponsors. There are people who come in. We've been having the same people coming in because they're interested in the sport. They love it. So they actually pump in some money. But for an individual to train, it's hard because not anybody will sponsor a person. They do sponsor events, like I said, but sponsoring a person like other countries, South Africa, you get majority of the people that compete have got somebody behind them who sponsors them. You see, they work as a brand. In Zambia, bodybuilding is not taken seriously, like I said, because they look at you as a bouncer only. You see, not as a brand. You see what I mean? So you find a lot of people don't pump in money. That is the challenge that we have right now. So right now with the current government, yeah, they've tried. I think because they are flexible. They are not only looking at soccer. They've tried to put in some money into bodybuilding. So that's why a lot of people are coming into bodybuilding. But my cry is we need sponsors to sponsor individuals so that the sport grows. And once they know about, bodybuilding is good. If your child is involved in these things, you need to be proud because they'll stay away from other things. Like I said, you need to be disciplined. Illicit stuff, drugs and whatnot, you stay away from that and you're focused on life. Your mind is clear. School, if it will be school, it will be school and the gym. So it's a good thing. I don't know why people don't want to pump in money. It's a good sport. It's fitness. You live longer when you're healthy, when you lift weight. Even when you're older, you can be 70, 50 something. The more you push weight, the more your muscles, become tighter, the more healthy you become. A lot of people think the older you get, you not need to lift, you hate your joints and whatnot. No, it happens because you stop. So this is something that people need to invest in.
Interesting. I'm looking at the kind of diet that he has. Okay. Obviously he eats a lot of chicken, a lot of eggs, a lot of protein generating food, and maybe just a bit of some fat. Exactly. How do you get to meet his daily diet as a trainer and as somebody who is acting as his manager and all that? How do you get there?
We source, like I said, when he wins, he does business. He sells some stuff. I also do the same. Put some money together, buy food like that. When he wins, sometimes there'll be those winnings. Then there are other people that come in who say, okay, if you need food, I can help you here. You see what I mean? I can help. I can give you so much. I've got so much. This is what I can give in. So you find that, okay, we get the money. Since his life is not about out there partying, it's concentrating on the workouts. We go and buy. We buy if it's chickens, chicken breasts, if it's broccoli, if it's this, then we just buy one time. He keeps it inside in the house. Then when we know it's time to prep for the competition, tell him, okay, since we bought this food here, you're gonna be eating like this because you have to calculate. Probably he has 7 meals in a day or 6 meals. So what I mean, it's gonna be chicken, eggs, like that. So find that we need to know because you just don't eat when you're competing. Like, okay, I'm gonna eat a full chicken here today. No, it's the macros, it's the calories that matter. So you need to know how much is putting in per meal. See what I mean? So all those things plus the supplementation as well. That's why I'm saying it's expensive because you look at food, you look at supplements. It's quite expensive to be. So all those things come into calculations for a day. So when you give him what you eat in a day, okay, he covers so much calories in a day. Then you split it up. Then you say, okay, this is what you eat. In a chicken piece, there's so much protein that you need for your muscle to grow after a workout and before. And this and this and this. You calculate, then you tell him what to eat. And you'll be eating like that. When you see now it's grown and now you change it up. You twist it up like that. You play with the diets like that.
Okay, interesting. Let me now bring in the aspect of supplements. What role do supplements play? If at all he has got such a bulky diet and he is eating like that, then what is the role of supplement? I've heard a lot of supplements and a lot of bodybuilders, even starters. I even get shocked. I am a supplement. I'm a supplement. You haven't even improved on your diet. You're already supplementing. So, for a professional, bodybuilder, what is the role of supplements?
Like the word itself says supplement. It's supplementary. It's just something that you put in. So when you eat, obviously you won't eat enough. Not everybody eats enough. So first of all, like you said, not you just don't start taking supplements. You need to train to a certain level. Maybe you train for 3-4 months where you train hard. So when you train like that, your body won't have enough nutrients in the system. So you can eat, but you won't meet the daily requirements. So that's when now you throw in a protein shake, there's creatine for water, there's a lot of things. There's glutamine, which helps with the joints, all those things. You need that stuff. So supplementation is just to add up on the food that you eat, on the nutrition, the macros that you need to meet in a day, the micronutrients. So if you say, for instance, you say a meal is supposed to be 30 grams of protein and maybe 60 grams of carbs and whatnot, 100, yeah. So now you say you eat a piece of chicken, which is maybe 15 grams of protein. Then you throw in a shake to supplement the space, to make it, to cover that space which is there, make it 40 grams. You see what I mean? Or you say in a day you eat so much protein, then you do the first and the second meal, then you can't eat in between, you throw in a shake to cover, then you come with your meals again. So it's just covers like that.
Wow, I used to think supplements, are there to make you feel more hungry so that you can eat a lot. That's what I was thinking.
No, a protein shake actually makes you get full because it's like a meal. Yeah,
okay.
So it's just to cover up protein because when you train, there's training where you just train. You don't actually, some people don't even need protein shakes, you see, because they don't train as hard. They don't break because what happens is you break your muscle. The muscle has to heal. The building blocks, the aminos that are in the protein, they're the ones that actually heal you for you to start growing. So now when you eat and you don't eat enough, meaning your growth will be slow, to be stagnant. But when you throw in the protein, it grows. So now when you train to a point where you're not getting that big, or you don't train enough to break that muscle enough, you don't actually need to supplement. You just need food. If you eat enough, you actually have that body that you want. You need some aminos that actually help with absorption of the food that you eat, because the body, when you eat and you're not supplementing, at some point the nutrients going into the system become slow, so the food just comes out. So when you put some supplements in there, it helps in the food getting into the system and building you. So yeah, supplements do that as well.
Wow, interesting. Nelson, what kind of supplements are your favorite that you usually take? I don't know whether it's once in a while, whether it's every day.
In terms of supplements, I don't really have a favorite supplement.
Okay.
But a protein shake I always have protein shakes.
And the pre-workout.
Okay.
So I can say those two, they're my favorite. In short, yeah, a pre-workout, that's the one I take before training.
So pre-workout, you take it before training?
For strength.
Okay.
Yeah.
Endurance, strength.
Endurance, focus. Yeah. Then after training, I take a protein shake. So those are the two supplements that I take.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what I can say. Maybe when you come into a question like what's your favorite supplement? Yeah, I can say those two, because I don't lack those two. They just have to be there.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And when it comes to your diet, how what are the times? Well, our president told us to say we'll be having 3 meals a day. Is it the same with you? Do you usually have 3 meals a day?
More than 3 meals.
More than 3 meals.
Yes.
Like how many times are you required to eat?
Like normally, as a bodybuilder, you need to have about 7 or 8 meals. Yes.
In Zambia.
In a day.
In Zambia.
we try by all means. Try by all means to reach that to eat 7 meals. We try by all means. It's not like 7 meals you're going to eat each big shima. Again, each big shima. Again, each big shima. No. You cut them in portions.
Okay.
Yeah. So like for me, I eat more than 3 meals in a day. Let me say 6, 7 sometimes. Yeah. It depends on the time that I left the gym. Yeah, but I cook the meals in advance so that when I'm done training, I just eat. Just warm them and start eating.
Yeah. What's your favorite food?
Chicken and rice.
Every bodybuilder eats chicken and rice.
Christmas food.
Chicken and rice. Yeah.
Chicken and rice.
Hey, chicken and rice. Christmas food.
Exactly. Chicken and rice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it advisable for a bodybuilder to also take carbonated, caffeined drinks, for instance, carbonated drinks and caffeined food from a professional point of view?
Yeah. So because now you're looking at sugars. With these, like I said, these calculated meals, calculated calories in a day. So now when you throw in it, like you get the carbonated drink, then you're throwing up your sugars. You see what I mean?
Okay.
So meaning it's adding up to your calorie level, and those are empty calories. What we avoid as bodybuilders is taking empty calories. You see, so a cool drink, a soft drink is empty. It's got nothing, but it's got calories. Meaning it's gonna add to your weight, to your whatever, but it won't give you anything. So what we the advice to ingest is something that would help you develop in a way. You see how it is, eh? So you can drink a Fanta and make you full, but it's useless. It's pointless. What's the use? You see, caffeine. We do caffeine for before the workout for endurance because it helps with she sharpens the mind and yeah. It's a bit thermogenic as well.
So now I understand why Cristiano Ronaldo had to remove
and Coca-Cola. It's because of the sugar. Exactly. The sugar was too much. Cristiano Ronaldo does. He works out a lot. He's lean.
Yeah.
So now if he starts showing people that he drinks Coca-Cola, people will start getting fat because Coke is a lot of sugar and it's empty calories as well. Then when you drink a Coke, you're putting a lot of calories. Then you get hungry in maybe 30 minutes. Then you need to eat again. Is how it is. So what happens? You start gaining weight. You start becoming fat.
So for him, he's not supposed to gain weight, but he's supposed to gain mass.
Yes.
That's what
he's supposed to gain weight in a certain way.
In a certain way.
Yeah. Okay. Not round mass like that. No. He's supposed to be he gains like here we say he's fat. You see what I mean?
Okay.
This is fat. Like we're saying here is bulking, is fat. And he needs to get bigger than this. Then when you get him big now, what you need is you remove the fat which is underlying in the skin, which is under the skin, and remain with the muscle. So you preserve the muscle and lose the fat. That's when you gain size. That you remain with the size. So when you put on the size, the muscle grows. Then you remove the water and the fat, and you just remain with the muscle. That's the mass that we are looking for.
That's a mass that every bodybuilder definitely is looking forward to. And I've been seeing a lot of youngsters, a lot of guys, getting into the gym and doing that. And, sometimes it becomes fun, not until, when you start competing with people like him, or if you have a privilege of, now training with him, that's when you come to understand to say, wow, okay, and stuff like that. So now, this is, we are just in the first part of this year. Exactly. And obviously, some of the people that you train with are actually looking at you and they're saying, okay, Getting into the next Mr. Zambia, what kind of competition do you think you're going to face?
What I can say is every competition is not easy. Yeah. So, like you said, all of them, they are looking up to me. So what I'm going to do now, we work on my side. The physique that I won with, I just have to bring it better than last year's physique. Right. So in terms of, I'll do my level best to bring something else, something that they have never imagined. To say, I think that's what I'm looking forward to.
Do you train together with, other bodybuilders, or probably you prefer training alone?
Like, I do train sometimes with bodybuilders. Yeah, like for a session, we can do it. We can train. Maybe today we can train. Maybe let me say if we say, I make a program with a guy, with a fellow bodybuilder to say, we'll do shoulder. Yeah, we can train. We can train. But I prefer training alone because I don't like following someone's program. I have my own program. Like with him. Yeah. We come up with a program because him who doesn't compete is there to advise me. So if I say today we will do this, he's going to agree, and he's able to tell me to say today I think today let's do this. I'm able to agree. But with a bodybuilder, there will be that kind of maybe let me say a conflict whereby he wants to do the legs and I want to do the chest. So I avoid to train. I do avoid sometimes to train the bodybuilder because of the same issue, whereby him wants to do something else, I want to do something else. So we're kind of having maybe a disagreement on working out.
No,
then you find that there's that issue of you're training with a fellow competitor, then he's monitoring at your weaknesses.
Yeah.
So for me personally, there are people that I started with gym. I started with maybe some of the bodybuilders that I say maybe I've trained with them before. So I can train again with them if they say that they want to train with me. I'm free for everyone. I'm there. But I don't prefer training with a fellow bodybuilder. That's what I can say.
He doesn't prefer training with a fellow bodybuilder.
On a regular, yes. For a session or two.
For a session,
okay.
yes.
But not
you get my point. For not on a daily basis. I can do a session with someone. Yeah, a fellow bodybuilder, I can train with him, but not on a daily basis. Not like it's more like a routine, not on a daily basis.
Because there are things that you need to hide from these people. There are things that they are not supposed to know. It's a sport.
And you know,
can't get your secrets.
And you know, it's having disagreements, to avoid having a conflict, it's better I train alone.
Okay.
Yeah, because I might say it's a Monday today, you're a fellow bodybuilder, you want to do legs and I want to do chest. You see, so if I agree to what you are telling me, then I am killing myself because my mind is somewhere else.
Yeah, I'm also just thinking of the idea where he wants to lift 200.
Then you don't want.
And then me, I can't manage to hit 200. Yeah. So automatically I'm disadvantaged. It's either he disadvantages me or I disadvantage him.
Because maybe that fellow bodybuilder is gonna add the weight that I can do, or maybe I'll add the weight that he can do. So it will be more like, we are, let me say, I'll just put it in like monga setting. Yeah.
So we are setting.
So I can wait,
but now it doesn't become training, it becomes ego,
exactly. It's like we're training again, we're fighting. That's the way it is.
Competition is starting from the gym.
Exactly. So it's, when you're training alone, you have your own program. No one is going to disturb your program. But if you are training, let me say, if I like the way you've said it, to say I'm lifting 200 kilos, then you can't do it. It's more like you're gonna feel in a certain way to say, I think I'm setting and training. But for me as Nelson, I'm satisfied with the weight. I'm able to do that weight, but you are unable to do that weight. Yeah. So in order to avoid that, it's better each one for himself and good for us all. Yeah, I prefer that way.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. Trust me, I agree. Yeah.
So that's the way it is. I'm not saying I can't train with a fellow competitor. No, I can train, but because of these same things, I can train. We can do arms, we can do shoulder, we can do legs, whatever we agree on, so long as we are moving with the same mindset. Yeah, not a situation whereby he's putting on weight that I can do, or I'm putting on weights that he can do. So that's the reason why maybe most of the times I prefer training with someone who doesn't compete.
Actually, even me, the time I was doing that,
Yeah.
I prefer doing it. Mfuna kunyengerera. Wapa mtu abwera abo longa kuvinsi bivesinza kwanisa.
Mr. Training, I
Yeah, but there are times whereby maybe someone comes to say, no, can I join you? Definitely I'll agree. If you and I are training together, I won't force you to do the weights that I'm doing. You do the weight that you're able to lift,
that you're comfortable with.
but the training will be moving on the same pace.
Actually, Mr. John, I've noticed that in most of the gyms.
Yeah.
You'd find that wangena mgym umuntu wapeza muntu acha chest pa now bwabwera wabombo chako chest, just that process maybe heavy longa zambiri iwosukwanisa.
Yeah.
That process of that mwachosa wanyamuka mutafaka. So the pesa kati I experienced that on several occasions. Baba zamba okay ukasiriza uzaniunza lekani ni chako che vinangu. Yeah. So I noticed even bodybuilders themselves, because like he's mentioning, maybe me, I might take 2 minutes resting. Him, he might just take 30 seconds or a minute resting, and he needs to go back. Mana bona guys 30 seconds in ntabira kupima bwino.
And that's how we work out, and we are used with it. The moment I'm done, he goes in. The moment it's done, I go back. That's how we move.
It's a routine.
That's how we move. Sometimes we can have maybe a conversation or two, depending on maybe I can feel in a certain way. Maybe I feel I'm having a strange pain. It's gonna tell me to say maybe try to rest a bit, maybe for 2 minutes or so, depending on what kind of pain I've noticed on myself. Yeah, because we avoid injuries as we're training. Yeah, we need to be very careful. You know, weights the way they are, especially with workouts that have to do with the involvement of the back. Yeah, the spine in short. Yeah, so we need to be careful. So what we normally do is when I'm out, let's say we are doing a bench press. When I'm out of the bench press, he goes in. When I'm adding he has his limit where I say, in a accident that I wait. So I do understand that. And I'm used with him because we've been together for a long time.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So for him and I, it's okay. Him, he knows that this weight, if he sees me doing, if I'm pressing, he's able to tell that I still have strength and I need to add more weight. So that's the way it is. So if it's a bodybuilder now, a fellow bodybuilder, I'll add the weight, then they start looking at me. I want to have fish. I think I've not enjoy. You see? So to avoid that, it's better I train with someone who doesn't compete. Yeah.
No, I get it. I get it. I understand now why even
bodybuilding it's very different. It's one sport that is very different from these other sports. It's different in terms of training. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because there are some things that you and your fellow bodybuilder can't agree on. That's the way it is in terms of training. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But football, if they say, guys, it's a jumpa murutu, you're going to do the same routine. Yeah. There's nothing like that in the You get? Yeah. Even let me say judo or karate, all the sports. If they say, guys, you do the same thing. There's nothing like you are going to disagree with your partner. No. But bodybuilding is very different. Yeah. No, it's very different. No, because there are days whereby maybe you feel like you don't have enough strength. So if I am training with a fellow bodybuilder, he's going to put a weight that will be too much for me. And maybe that day I feel like doing just light weights. Yeah. So I prefer training with someone who's not a bodybuilder like him, who doesn't compete. Yeah.
All right, so I've been talking to Nelson Chabota, who is the current Mr. Zambia, and of course sharing with us his training routine, his diet, and his focus next this year, and his trainer as well, Mr. John. Also, telling us more from a professional point of view what it takes really to get to that level. Guys, thank you so much for coming through. Nelson, it's always a pleasure, really. Thank you so much for coming through today, and I'm happy that finally I meet Mr. Zambia 2022. Mr. John, thank you so much. Keep on, keep on killing him. We want him to make sure that this year he definitely gets the Arnold Classic. Exactly. He has to win it. If he came out third from his first try, I think he's ready for that.
Yeah. He's gonna win this year. This year, I'm definitely sure he's going to take the title. Trust me. You'll see. You interview us again, and we're going to show you the medals that we won.
Definitely.
Then you're going to come back to the gym. You train with us. You start training with us.
I definitely have to. I definitely have to. Akafaka 200, yazamba kunitandi zako.
100 ni yake. You've got your own weight.
No, you have your own weight. 200 is fine.
It's okay. This is the pace that
you have to move at your own pace. Yeah.
All right. So definitely, ladies and gentlemen, our next chat with him will be in the gym when he is actually having his training routine, so that we can definitely get into the life of Mr. Zambia as well. Thank you so much. For now, we take a very short break. We'll be back shortly.